colony ship Hopebringer floated quietly through deep space. It was large, white, and filled with 10,000 human settlers, men, women, and children. They were asleep in cryopods, dreaming of their new home on planet Aurea. The mission was peaceful. No weapons, only science teams and engineers. They were going to build a future, but the future never came. At exactly 3:19 Earth Standard Time, all contact with Hopebringer was lost. At first, Earth Command thought it was a system error. Signals get delayed in deep space. Maybe the ship's relay was broken. But then, 47 minutes later, a transmission arrived, a direct message, beamed to Earth's High Command. It wasn't a text. It was a video. The entire command hall fell silent as the screen came to life. Static. Then an image of Hopebringer, floating. Suddenly, energy beams hit the ship from all sides. The ship cracked, exploded. Pieces of metal, fire, and frozen bodies flew through the blackness. There was no sound in space. But the silence was worse. The camera zoomed in on one cryopod drifting. In space. Inside was a human child, eyes closed. Frozen forever. Then the screen went black. A moment later, a voice spoke. Calm, cold, in a strange alien accent. "We are the Varnock." This was a warning. You are soft, weak. You expand too fast. Stay in. Your place or you will burn with your stars. The message ended. The hall remained quiet for a full minute. No one spoke. Some officers looked pale. One man threw up. The President of Earth stood slowly. Her hands shook slightly. "Was that real?" she asked. The Chief of Intelligence nodded. "Yes. Signal is genuine. It came from the outer spiral." "Near Aurea? Do we have anything near the area?" "No warships. Only science probes." A military general spoke. "Attack civilians. Children, this wasn't war, this was murder." Another man stood. Admiral Corrin, head of Earth's Black Navian unlisted fleet, not part of public knowledge. His voice was calm, but his eyes were iced. "Do we know the Varnock?" he asked. "No records," replied the AI historian. "No known contact. They are a new species, or one that is hidden." Admiral Corrin nodded once. Then they made a mistake. The president looked at him. "We should talk first. Try peace. Maybe they don't understand." "They understand," Corrin said. "They sent a message. Now we send one back." Over the next few weeks, Earth's news channels were filled with grief. Millions watched the video, funerals were held, children lit candles for the frozen boy in the drifting pod. The face of the child became a symbol. But the government said nothing. The Varnock waited. They thought humans were broken. They thought silence meant fear. But while the people cried, the military moved. Ships that didn't officially exist began to disappear from hidden hangars. Stealth cruisers launched from the dark side of Earth's moon. AI war drones powered up in secret underground bunkers. Old files were open files, marked for final war use only. A name began to spread among Earth's defense circle. Project Revenant. Even top officials didn't know what it meant. Far away in Varnock space, their leaders laughed. They didn't even answer. One said they are like soft fruit. "One squeeze and they die," said another. Their fleets returned to their borders. They relaxed. They celebrated. They believed they had shown strength. But they had made one mistake. They thought humans would forgive. They didn't know Earth's history of fire, of war, of how humans had survived world-ending bombs, poisons, machines, and each other. Didn't know what humans became when they stopped smiling. They would learn, the stars would teach them, and the screams would echo for a very, very long time. Weeks passed. The Varnock waited for a reply. None came. Earth said nothing. No messages, no demands, no threats, just silence. From their command chambers, the Varnock High Lords watched human space closely. Their scanners picked up no military movement, no ships crossing borders, no energy spikes. It was as if humans had frozen, shocked into fear. "They are cowards," one Varnock general said. "Their silence is their surrender." The others agreed. They had seen fear before in other species. It always looked the same, quiet, still soft. They believed the humans were broken, but they were wrong. Back on Earth, the surface world remained. Calm news channels stopped talking about the Hopebringer incident. People were told it was still under investigation. Protesters marched asking for answers, but the government gave none. What the public didn't know was that the war had already begun, in the blackest parts of space, far beyond normal. Trade lanes, ships without ID codes began to move. These ships were completely silent. No light, no signal, no sound. They were called Ghost Fleet. No one had seen them in years. Some believed they were just a myth story told in secret corners of Earth's military. But they were real, and now they were awake. Admiral Corrin stood inside the control bridge of the Black Star, the lead ship of the Ghost Fleet. The ship was massive, dark, triangular, with no windows. It looked like a shadow in space. Fleet status? He asked. All units online. Cloaked. Stealth at full, replied the AI navigator. How many ships? 132, sir. Good, Corrin said. Begin Phase 1. Cross human space. Secret signals were sent. Tiny listening. Satellites picked up Varnock communication lines. Drones moved through asteroid belts, scanning for enemy outposts. Human spies deep, undercover for years, activated inside Varnock colonies. The silence was not fear, it was preparation. Meanwhile, inside the Varnock Empire, things were changing. Strange reports began to appear. One mining station near the outer zone stopped sending messages. A scout ship sent to check never returned. A patrol near the dead zone found something floating in space, a piece of metal. It looked human, but they didn't understand what it meant. Then one of the crew opened a box inside the wreckage. It was a child's toy, frozen, blackened, with a name written on it. Eli, age 7. The patrol crew didn't know who Eli was. They laughed. They thought it was some kind of joke. They sent the toy to a museum on Varnock Prime, but 3 days later, that museum exploded. No survivors. Still, the High Lords were not afraid. They believed humans were too slow, too emotional. To strike back, they didn't understand yet. Deep inside Earth's moon, another meeting took place. The leaders of Earth's hidden branches, the Shadow. Council sat around a black glass table. Admiral Corrin reports Ghost Fleet is in position. One voice said, another nodded. Good. Operation Revenant is live. What about civilian panic? They still believe nothing is happening in the Varnock? They think we are scared? Let them think that, said a third voice. Let them laugh. When our silence breaks, they will beg for sound again. Back in Varnock territory, the mood slowly began to shift. Ships were disappearing. Small bases going dark. No signs of battles, just empty whispers began to spread among Varnock soldiers. They called it the Black Wind, a shadow that moved through space. No alarms, no gunfire, just one moment you existed, the next you were gone. Commanders tried to explain it. Malfunctions, pirates, sensor glitches. But deep down, fear had started to grow. And still, humans said nothing. On a quiet Varnock station. 2 officers stood on a watchtower looking at the stars. Do you think they're coming? One asked, the other laughed. They would have come already. Humans are weak. They mourn too long. They feel too much. Suddenly, a small red light blinked on the console. What's that? Unknown ship heading this way. No signal. Put it. Up the shields. No time. A shape appeared in the distance. Massive, black, silent. Then everything went dark. The Varnock Empire called it Outpost 9, a military base near the edge of their space. It was strong, with 10 warships, over 2,000 soldiers, and 3 orbital defense cannons. It was built to stop any threat from deep space. They believed it was untouchable. They were wrong. At 3:43 local time, the outpost picked up a strange reading. Unidentified object, Sector 7A, said the scan officer. How big? Asked the commander. Very big. But but it's not sending any signal. It's just floating. The commander frowned. Send a drone. Check it out. The drone flew toward the object. It was fast and small, with cameras and sensors. As it approached the dark shape, it sent back its last image, a massive black triangle. Smooth, silent, and not on any Varnock database. Then the drone signal vanished. Gone. No explosion. No debris. Just silence. Could be a minefield, one officer said. Or space junk. The commander didn't agree. His hands felt cold. His instincts were screaming. Power up shields. Wake the fleet. It was already too late. The black shape moved. Without light, without sound, the black star opened fire. 1 second. Outpost 9 was quiet. The next second it was on fire. High-energy rail rounds smashed into the base's outer shell. Troop barracks exploded. Fuel tanks lit up like suns. Varnock soldiers ran, screamed, and died. The defense cannons tried to lock on, but their systems shut down, hacked, overridden. Then came the second wave. 12. Smaller human stealth ships dropped from orbit. They launched micro-missiles into the shipyards. Varnock cruisers still docked, never had a chance. Fire filled the black sky. Metal cracked and twisted. Warning sirens screamed, but no help came. Within 7 minutes, Outpost 9 was gone. Nothing remained but a burning ring of wreckage. Across the Varnock Empire, alarm bells rang. Someone had attacked them. Not pirates, not rebels, humans, but how? How did they bypass sensors? How did they jam systems? How did they vanish afterward? The High Lords were furious. Some called it a trick. Others blamed internal failure. But one old general stood and said only one word. Revenant. What did you say? A younger lord asked. I read about it, the old general said slowly. Centuries ago, humans created a project. Something too dangerous. It was said to be shut down before peace talks began. It was called Project Revenant. Built not to defend, but to erase. Erase what? Empires. Admiral Corrin watched the replay of the attack. The screen showed the fireball where Outpost 9 used to be. He said nothing, only nodded once. The AI beside him spoke. Outpost 9 destroyed. 0 human losses. Operation complete. Good, Corrin said. Begin phase 2. What about media leak? Still silent. Let the Varnock tell their own story. Let fear spread by their own mouths. And fear did spread. Fast. Civilian worlds began to panic. People asked questions. Why wasn't the military responding? Who attacked? Why couldn't their technology stop it?
Nice.
Rumors spread like fire. The humans are not coming. They're already here. They have ships you cannot see. They strike without warning, and you don't get a second chance. Some colonies stopped sending ships out. Others sent peace messages toward human space. But they got no reply. Only silence. Inside the ruins of Outpost 9, floating through the wreckage, one Varnock rescue ship found something strange, a small black box. Untouched by the fire, they brought it aboard and opened it. Inside was a holoscreen. It activated on its own. A single message appeared, written in human text, then translated. This was our answer. If you wanted war, we bring you silence. Below the text was a still image. It was the frozen face of the human child from the Hopebringer. The Varnock soldiers looked at each other. No one spoke. For the first time in generations, Varnock knew what it meant to be hunted. The Varnock Empire was no longer at peace. Outpost 9 had been destroyed. 10 ships and 2,000 soldiers gone. They couldn't explain how. Couldn't even find the attackers. The only clue was a floating message and the frozen face of a human child. Something had changed. Across their systems, fear grew like a virus. At first it started with whispers. One Varnock cargo ship sent a distress call near the Zolar Belt. Unseen vessel, no heat signature, it's watching us. The signal ended mid-sentence. Search ships found nothing. No wreckage, no beacon. The ship had vanished. Within days it happened again, this time to a patrol cruiser. It reported seeing a dark shape. Then its lights died. Then silence. The Empire sent more scouts. Only half returned. Commanders began calling them ghost ships. Stealthy, silent, deadly. They didn't fight in open battle. They stalked, waited, then struck without sound. Most times they left no evidence, but sometimes they left something worse. One Varnick scout team found a shuttle drifting near a dead star. Its lights were flickering. They brought it aboard inside. There was only one body curled in a corner. It was a Varnack soldier, eyes wide open, claw marks on his own helmet. Next to him was a human knife, clean, sharp, and unused. On the wall, scratched in the metal, were words in perfect Varnack script. They see us before we see them. The high lords of the Varnack Empire argued in fear. Why haven't the humans responded officially? One asked. Because they don't want war, another said. They want revenge. They've hacked our systems, said a third. Even now, they could be watching. Some leaders demanded full war. Attack Earth. Show strength. But others hesitated. Earth had not sent a fleet. Earth had not declared war, and yet their outposts were falling one by one. Who were they fighting? Where was this ghost fleet hiding? In the shadows of human space, Admiral Corrin reviewed the latest reports. Ghost Fleet had now completed Phase 2. 5 Varnock bases destroyed. 7 ships captured or erased. And Earth's name never spoken. The public still believed peace talks were ongoing, but war had already swallowed the stars. Do we move to Phase 3? Asked his AI commander. Corrin paused, then nodded. Begin the psychological pressure. Let them fear shadows. Let them hear us in silence. On Varnock Colony 17, strange things started happening. Screens flickered with human text for half seconds before resetting. Music systems played Earth lullabies at night, soft, slow, haunting. One soldier opened a locker and found an old Earth children's book inside. Nobody saw how it got there then. One night all the security lights on the colony flickered and died. In total darkness, the words appeared on every wall. We have not forgotten. You will never sleep again. Back in the capital, the Varnock lords panicked. This is more than war, one said. This is madness. Another whispered, what? If we already lost, what if they're inside our systems? Their own people began fleeing border worlds. Morale collapsed. The Varnock Empire, once powerful and proud, now looked over its shoulder at every shadow. No human army had invaded. No planet had been taken. But the fear of humans had taken root, and it was spreading fast. On a cold observation platform, a young Varnack officer stared into space. His eyes scanned the stars. Behind him, an older soldier joined him, still watching for ghosts. The elder asked. The younger nodded. I don't believe in ghosts, he said. But I believe in humans now. Why? The young officer pointed at a dark area between 2 stars. I saw something there last night. It blinked once, then vanished. Could be a glitch, maybe. But the glitch came back. Same spot. Same blink. The older soldier said nothing. Then he asked if you saw them, would you fire? The younger officer's voice was low. No, I'd run. Varnock Prime, the capital of the Empire, was no longer calm. Streets once full of power, now echoed with fear. Ships stayed docked. Borders stayed closed. Whispers ruled over facts. In the command tower of the Varnack High Council, Supreme, strategist Luar sat alone in his chamber, staring at old data files. His eyes were tired, his scales dim. He had served the Empire for 300 years. He had seen uprisings, alien plagues, star rebellions, but never this. We face a ghost, he whispered. No, something worse. He tapped his console and spoke. Bring me all records related to human military projects, secret or erased, the system replied. Warning. Accessing forbidden archives. Override, he said. Level 0 clearance. The screen flickered, then unlocked. A single file appeared. Project Areve. Yanan T's blood ran cold. The file was old. Dated before the first human galactic treaty, even before Earth was accepted into the Galactic Council. It had a high-level lock. He opened it. Inside were images ships darker than space itself, with no visible weapons but capable of wiping out cities. There were notes from Earth's own scientists, not designed for defense. Built for final war scenarios only. No emotions, no hesitation, no survivors. Once released, cannot be stopped. The project had been marked shut down, but the last line said, "If activated, expect no communication. Expect only silence, and then extinction." Strategist Luar leaned back. "They lied to us," he said softly. "They never shut it down." Elsewhere, in a hidden Varnock research center, a scientist named Vecta was running his own investigation. He had studied all the recent attack sites, Outpost 9, Colony 17, patrol sectors for B, 7D, and 10K. Every location had one thing in common: data loss, not just destruction erasure. "Whoever they are," he said, "they're not just killing, they're deleting." "Deleting what?" asked his assistant. "Records, history, maps. Everything. It's like they want to wipe away all traces. Like we never existed there." The assistant frowned. "But why?" Vecta turned to him, eyes dark. "Revenge doesn't just want justice. It wants the past to vanish." Back on Earth, Admiral Corrin stood in front of a screen showing a red circle over Varnock Prime. "Phase 3 is working," said the AI beside him. "They've started uncovering Project Revenant." Corrin nodded. "Good. Let them dig. Let them see what we built and tried to bury." A junior officer spoke, hesitant. "Sir, was it really shut down before?" Corrin looked at him. His voice was low. "We thought we could lock it away. We thought humans didn't need monsters anymore. We were wrong." Back in Varnock space, a secret council meeting was called. Only 10 leaders were present. Strategist Leor stood before them. "We are not fighting humans," he said. Gasps filled the room. "Then who?" asked a general. "We are fighting their past. A weapon they created when they still feared everything is called Project Revenant." He showed them the files. The room went cold. "This is genocide," someone whispered. Another voice spoke up. "But why now? Why release it after all these years?" "Because," Luor replied, "we killed 10,000 of their people, families, children." He paused, "and we sent them a message. But they sent back silence." All across the Varnock Empire, panic grew deeper. Entire fleets refused to leave base. Colonies shut down systems at night out of fear of the ghost. Fleet could see their heat signatures. Some commanders turned off their comms completely. "If we are quiet, maybe they won't find us." But the humans weren't just hunting them. They were teaching them a lesson. One fleet commander received a strange package from deep space. Inside was a single object of Varnock war metal. It had blood on it. The metal belonged to Mardel Gi. General Covell, the one who ordered the destruction of the Hope BRNGER. Covell had vanished 2 weeks earlier. No one had seen him since. In the final hours of the day, strategist Luar stood alone on the Capitol Tower and looked at the stars. "We should have never touched Earth," he whispered. "We thought they were soft because they smiled." He looked up. Now the stars didn't smile back. They only watched, silent, cold, and full of regret. Varnock, to Prime, was changing. Once loud and proud, its streets were now silent. The lights dimmed earlier. Ships stayed grounded. Citizens whispered about the Shadow Fleet and the cursed humans. Some refused to speak at all. Fear had become law, and the leaders, they were desperate. Inside the Varnock High Chamber, Supreme Strategist Luar stood before the council. "We cannot fight this alone," he said. "We need help allies now. But who would join us?" One counselor asked. "The same ones?" "We ignored for years," Luar replied. "The Drekari, the Solari, the trade union of Reese anyone. They hate us. They fear us. Then we must show them that humans are worse." Within hours, Varnak envoys were sent out. Some traveled to ancient allies. Some traveled to old enemies. The message was always the same. The humans have turned to darkness. They have awakened an ancient weapon. We need unity. We need fleets. Some races laughed. Others stayed silent. But one response came back faster than any other, from the Solari Empire cold. Logic-driven species known for their advanced technology and strong fleets, the Solari reply was short. You attacked the humans first. You killed their children, now you expect mercy? Varnak High Command sent another message, begging, we are not asking for mercy, we are asking for survival. But the final reply from the Solari chilled every heart in the chamber. We will not fight humans. We have seen what they are capable of. We watched Earth's wars. We studied their history. They are kind, till they are not. You made them not. The same answer came from others, the Drekari said. When our ships broke down, it was the humans who sent engineers. When our sun dimmed, it was the humans who sent heat shields. We will not raise a weapon against them, the Reeses only said. Good luck. Even neutral systems blocked Varnak's signals. The Empire had stood tall for 1,000 years. Now, stood alone. In a deep corner of Varnak's space, a fleet commander named Halrix received secret orders. Form a strike group. Prepare to invade human border territory. Find their weak point. Force a reply. Halrix obeyed, but before his fleet even reached the jump point, all their navigation systems failed. His ships began drifting. Slow, helpless, blind. Then, one by one, the ships started exploding. No warning, no trace. When his command ship lost power, Halrix opened a small metal box that had suddenly appeared in his control room. Inside was a voice recorder. It's already playing. It was the sound of crying. A child's crying then. Silence at the same time inside a hidden lab on Earth. Admiral Korin stood in a room surrounded by screens. The face of the Varnak strategist Luar appeared, a secret call. First contact since the war began. Luar's voice was low, tired, beaten. Know you're listening, he said. I know your ships are already in our systems. Korin said nothing. Luar continued. We tried to find help. No one will stand with us. Still, Korin remained silent. Then Luar said what no Varnak leader had said in 1,000 years. We surrender. It was a long pause. Then Korin finally spoke. You think this was about victory? Luar blinked. What else? Korin leaned forward. This is about memory. He ended the call. On Earth, the public still didn't know the full story. The media talked of diplomatic silence and outer system security exercises. But the Shadow Council knew, and they were divided. Enough death, said one member. They've learned their lesson. No, said another. They need to remember it forever. They surrendered. No, Admiral Korin interrupted. They regret. A pause. Then he added, and regret is not the same as peace on Varnak Prime. Another unexpected message appeared on every screen. Black background, white text. This is what it feels like to be small. This is what you gave us. We returned it, multiplied. Below the words was a number. 10,000, nothing else. No name, no voice. Just the count of the lives they had taken. For weeks, the galaxy had been watching the Varnak Empire fall apart. Not through war, not through invasion, but through fear. One by one, their ships disappeared. Their stations burned. Their leaders begged for allies, but no one answered. And still, the humans said nothing. No news, no threats, no demands, just silence. Until the silence broke. The broadcast hit every screen in the galaxy at the same time, from trading stations to deep mining outposts, from border colonies to alien capitals. Every device with a signal turned black. Then, a single video started. It opened with an image of Earth, silent and peaceful from orbit. A human voice, calm and cold, began to speak. We were born in fire. We survived our own mistakes. We united because we had to. Then, We reached the stars. We offered friendship, trade, peace. But when you met our children in space, you killed them. The screen changed. Footage played of the Hopebringer, the colony ship, destroyed by the Verno. Screams, flames, floating bodies in space. Child's frozen face. The same child the galaxy had now seen dozens of times. The voice continued. You sent us a message. You are weak. We understood. And we answered. Now the screen showed Outpost 9, the Varnock station burning. Then the black triangle of a human stealth ship floating past. Then Varnock colony stations. Left empty, one by one, every location that vanished. The voice kept speaking. We said nothing. Because nothing needed to be said. Now we give you this message. The video cut to a view of the Varnock capital world filmed from orbit. It was live. People in the streets looked up. Confused, shadows passed over them. The clouds shifted. Then dozens of black ships uncloaked in the sky. The Ghost Fleet. Visible for the first time. No weapons fired. No words spoken. Just presence. Silent, watching back in the galaxy. Species everywhere held their breath. Some cried. Some stood still. Some powered down their weapons, afraid even of being mistaken as a threat in the Varnock High Chamber. Strategist Luar stood frozen. They're showing us what they could do, he whispered, and Aide asked, will they destroy us? Luar didn't answer, because he didn't know. Back in the video, the human voice returned one final time. Shh. We'll remember this. You will teach your children this. There will be no memorials for our dead, no statues, no revenge celebrations. Only this warning. The screen turned black. Words appeared in white. Do not touch Earth. Then the broadcast ended. Silence returned. But this silence was different. This one shook the stars. For hours after the message, Capital remained still. People stayed indoors. No ships moved. Not one order was given. And then, one by one, the black human ships vanished again into the stars. No attack. No reply. Just departure, leaving behind only memory and fear. Far away. On Earth, Admiral Corrin stood alone on a quiet balcony. Below him, people were living normal lives. Kids played. In parks, families walked under the sun. They didn't know what he had done. They didn't need to, eh? Young officer approached him. Sir, what happens now? Corrin looked at the sky. They will remember, he said. And Corrin turned toward him, voice calm. And they'll never try again. 50 years passed, the stars still shined. Trade moved across galaxies. New worlds were born. Old wars faded into history, but one story never faded. A story told in whispers. In quiet rooms, in schools and spaceports and war rooms, the story of the Varnock and the humans they dared to attack. The Varnock Empire still existed, but smaller. Weaker, quieter. They had rebuilt cities, started farms, opened schools again, but their ships no longer crossed human space. Their soldiers no longer boasted in bars, and on every Varnock world. One day every year was marked in silence. They called at the day of regret. No celebrations, no music, just stillness and remembrance of the message, of the ghosts, of the price. In a classroom on Varnock Prime, a young student raised his hand. Teacher, he asked, did the humans ever attack our capital? The old teacher looked out the window. For a moment, then back at the boy. No, she said softly. But they came, didn't they? Yes, she nodded. And they showed us what they could do. Why didn't they destroy us? The teacher paused. Then she said, because they didn't need to. The class fell silent. She continued. They left something worse behind. What memory? A far-off colony. A group of alien miners found something strange while digging deep into a dead moon. A black box old human made. They brought it to their station when they opened it. A message played. This world is clean. No threat found. You are safe. Stay that way. No name, no voice. just the feeling that someone was still watching. Even after all these years, some species still feared Earth. Others respected it, but no one challenged it. Because in the deep cold of space, there were still ships no one could see. There were still shadows that didn't show on scanners, and there were still human eyes. Watching, waiting, back on Earth. The world moved forward. New cities rose. Peace lasted longer than ever before. But in a hidden underground base, one room remained untouched. A black room with screens showing stars. Admiral Corrin had passed away years ago, but his chair was still there, and a message on the wall above it: speak softly. Leave no trace. Strike only once. The nameplate below it read, Project Revenant Status. Dormant but not deleted. Never deleted. In the cold dark beyond the edge of the galaxy. A young alien pilot, lost and low on fuel, drifted near an uncharted system. Her ship was broken. Her signal was weak. She whispered, scared, please, anyone help me. Suddenly her console flickered. A new signal appeared. Unknown origin, then. Human voice soft. Calm, you're not alone. Her ship powered up again. She gasped. Outside her window. For a brief second, she saw a shadow pass. Then it was gone. She didn't know what it was, but she never forgot it. Across the stars, the echoes still lived, not in war, not in fire, but in silence, and fear and memory, and one truth repeated again and again in every corner of the galaxy. They wanted war with humans. Now the stars echo with their regret.